For 5 months, more than 250,000 people have been detained in camps like this in northern Sri Lanka. They're minority Tamils, civilian refugees from the Sri Lankan government's war with the Tamil Tiger rebels, which came to an end in May. Now pressure is mounting on the government to set them free. The United Nations says about 66,000 people being held in one of the camps face a humanitarian disaster when the monsoon rains come in the weeks ahead. It says many tents will be flooded by a mixture of rainwater and effluent overflowing from toilets, making water supplies undrinkable and access by vehicles impossible. The Sri Lankan government says it is prepared for the rains and blames the UN for failing to maintain facilities in the camp.
This was particularly bad with regard to toilets, and I'm afraid there was really some substandard work, contrary to Sri Lankan national standards, which we brought to the attention of UNICEF. They have promised to repair them. They hadn't done it in August, but when I last went up in September, things have begun to improve.
Not so, says the New York-based Human Rights Watch, which claims conditions in the camps are deteriorating and has renewed calls for Sri Lanka to immediately release the captives.
At this point, nobody can be any longer fooled by the assurances by the Sri Lankan government. Sri Lankan government has been saying so many different things over the last months, including, for example, that people will be released, that people will be resettled, that the conditions are up to international standards. None of that has so far proven to be true.
The government says more than 22,000 people have already been resettled from the camps. And while it wants to release more, the process it calls decongestion is slow.
Of course, there is a need for decongestion. This is something we have also been pointing out, and we have asked for assistance on sending people away to some of the districts from which they had originally come. And we believe that this is going on reasonably well. There are security considerations that we have to be careful about. As you know, we did have one of the most violent terrorist movements in the world.
The government says many areas the Tamils want to return to are still littered with mines, which will take some time to clear. In the meantime, 250,000 refugees will have to stay in the camps and weather the coming storm as best they can. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera.